From the East Brunswick Jewish Center, I'm Rabbi Jeff Paivo. Time changes everything, including how we feel about everything. Before the fact, we might be totally opposed to something occurring, but after it's already happened, we often moderate our reaction. I can suggest a few different reasons why we do that. First, we might discover to our surprise that our original opposition to something was really unfounded, that there was no reason for concern or the kind of concern that we had about it. Second, even if our concerns continue after something happens, we understand that making a big fuss about it is going to make things even worse, and so we just go with the flow. Jewish tradition also takes into account these kinds of changes of heart. There are a number of situations in which something is prohibited l'hatchila, before the fact, but accepted, if not encouraged, b'di'avad, after the thing has already occurred. One such case occurs in this week's Parsha in Amor, where a number of rules establish whom among the Kohanim are fit to serve God, and whom the priests can marry and remain fit to be a Kohen. Among those a Kohen cannot marry, for instance, are divorced women and women who have converted into Judaism. In the rabbinic period, this was understood to mean that before the fact, a Kohen cannot marry a divorcee, for example, but that having married one, their marriage is valid after the fact. That approach creates a certain amount of legal and ethical tension. If such a marriage is prohibited, then why would then one that takes place be sanctioned in any way after it has occurred? And more generally, why would any prohibited act have an escape clause, so to speak, for one who has transgressed the law and knowingly engaged in such a prohibited act? The answer is that Jewish tradition has never been absolutist. It recognizes that ideals do not always translate into reality. We should never shy from establishing communal rules for living a righteous life. But Judaism has always understood that the human being is a frail creature, and that sometimes we make choices that fall short of our tradition's ideals. Saying that something shouldn't happen doesn't mean that if it does, we should give up on those ideals. Life is too complicated to expect such things to be lived up to in every possible situation. So we have to have the equanimity to accept plan B when the situation calls for it. In Jewish tradition, idealism is always tempered by realism. A Shabbat Shalom from all of us here at the East Brunswick Jewish Center.